Hello there everybody and welcome to Matt the Dragon Railways. This is a little live stream. Basically I'm just running some 060 National Coalboard locos. This includes my Electrotram Barclay, which is passing right now with a medium-sized freight train. And eventually you will see my 060 National Coalboard packet in a lovely blue livery. And that's got some Modeloo figures fitted in the cab, and then a lamp on the front by Modeloo. So this is a little test really for basically my Wi-Fi, because this channel has always wanted, well, I've always wanted to stream, but I'm never sure if it will work because thanks to basically the internet, because the internet isn't really good here. So if it's running smoothly, then please do let me know in the chat. I see we have one person on, so welcome to the stream. I hope it is going alright. If it is, then you can enjoy some locomotives running. There you go, the packet and the Barclay passing one another. I don't really know what to say on the stream really, apart from hello and enjoy the trains. So any questions or anything you want to say, then do leave it in the chat. I believe I can see it. So yeah, I just randomly decided let's go for National Coalboard 060 locomotives. I quite like the Barclay, needs a bit of a run really. I don't run it lots, even though it's quite a nice loco. And also, I never really thought of it. I reviewed it on the channel not long ago. I say not long ago, to you it was a couple weeks ago, to me it was probably back in March. I think that is around the time I'm at now. When I was filming in March, so yeah, I'm quite far ahead. So yeah, the packet has right behind it wig and coal, a gunpowder van and a banana van, and then a tow brake van, because I think the packet looks good with a tow brake van on the end of a train. And you'll see that arriving. They seem to want to pass at the exact same time. The National Coalboard Loco has a Middleton wagon, that Woking wagon, Nelson, and a couple weathered wagons, a Ruston Hornsby flat wagon, and a brake van, 20-ton brake van that I weathered myself. It was a bit of an experiment. I think you'll see that on the channel next month. I might be wrong though. If not this month, I can't remember. So, how is the stream running? Is it running smoothly, or is it a bit buggy, bit loading, keep buffering and all that? Or is it actually going okay? Because it'd be quite useful to know. Because I would love to do some live streaming on here, but just I never know if I can. Normally it ends in failure, and then I give up for a few months, and then I'll try again to see if the Wi-Fi's improved at all, because it does improve. It definitely does improve. I've noticed a good difference in it over the time. So just see if it's good enough for streaming. So as you see, it's a little bit different angle. Just round this way is normally where I do my reviews, where I sit the locos and that. Yeah, it's something a bit different, isn't it? Roger Bay hasn't seen lots of use lately. That's good news then, if it's running fine. Just cleaning off the dust off the locos that are falling on. Hello Middleport Junction, welcome to the stream. I hope all is running smoothly. I don't know if that chat comes up large for you or if it's just on my screen. I'm just trying out a different app. Seeing what it's like. I literally downloaded it about 5 minutes ago. Oh yeah, stream started 5 minutes ago. Time does fly on the stream. So yeah, this National Coldboard Andrew Barclay, the 060, it's an Electra Trend thing. I think it was about £50 from Rouser Sheffield when I got it. I said about it in the video. But it's a nice loco. Apart from it's a bit noisy, it hasn't really got any, well, much separately fitted detail, but it's actually, I think it's quite nice. It's very reliable, and it does the job. And the Pecket's a Pecket. You can't beat a Pecket. They're quite nice Bristol-made locos, and it's got a good weight to it due to having a die-cast saddle tank. And as you can see, a non-NCB loco in the siding. It's my 08 Shunter I painted. That's a Lima one. Yeah, that's by Lima. I think I got that for around £30 once, and it was quite good. I was quite happy with it. It's had a few pulls to bits, even the rods have come off and everything. It's been quite thorough. Had a thorough job done to it. Chatted to regular size, that's fine, thank you for that. It's because on my screen it come up quite large at this part. I wondered if it actually showed on the screen, on the stream itself, or if it was literally just for me to see. Because I want to see what it's like. If it does at all start slowing down or buffering, just let me know, because it's not fair running a stream like that. Here comes the Pecket. I don't know if you can make out the crew from Modeloop. They're very good models, they are. They sent me those free of charge to review if you've seen it. It's on the channel. It's very nice. It's very good figures, very highly detailed. Thank you very much, Middleport Junction. It's my, what I call a slow project. Well, as you know, a model railway's never finished. But I have micro layouts that have been finished to a point. You know, of course, they want improving and want work, but, you know, they're done. Whereas this one's quite a slow-moving one. It's been going like this for about 5 years. It doesn't see much scenic work each year, just a little bit now and then. It's due a clean-up soon. It could do with being cleaned. Could do with spending some time giving it a nice dust and that, and getting it up to good scratch. But yeah, I'm just running that Pecket a bit faster because it was slowing down. Slows down going uphill a little bit. But yeah, it's a slow running project, though model railways, you know, they're never finished, but it's, you know, it's summer that passes time. It's my only loop layout, so it's quite nice to do what I'm doing now. Sit and run trains and watch them. That's the main purpose of it, really. But yeah, it's very nice. But I thought some 060 locos would be good. Yes, this is 00 gauge Middleport. It's to the dimensions of the Hornby track map, basically. But of course the scenery is different. A couple little things are different, like the size of a siding and that, but mostly it's basically the Hornby track map in 00 gauge. Yeah, it's a nice little layout. I'm quite happy with it. It's not based off anywhere or anything. It's just an anything goes layout, basically. I run what I want, when I want, and with what I want, you know. I could run, you know, if I wanted to, I'd run a Pecket with Mark 3s and that, you know. But I have my other layouts. One not announced on the channel. I have said about it in live streams and that, though. But there's Little Kingston, which is Western Region, and the Little West Yorkshire layout. Little Kingston, I like to run up to modern trains on it, really. Yeah, exactly, my layout, my rules. There are, you know, if I run my Western Region layout, I like to run me, normally like to run my Prairies and that, my Great Western engines on it. But I will, time to time, run something that isn't Great Western. like my Andrew Barclay on the shunting and that's quite nice. I do like to run prototypical at times, but there's also other times where you can run what you want. Look at this. This is a coalboard locomotive that's hauling gunpowder in a banana van together. It's a bit of a mix, but they're nice wagons. If I slow down this packet, I'm gonna just stop him there. I don't know if you there you go. You'll see that's the fireman on that side in the cab, and you see the lamp on the front of it. It's a lovely model. It's a normal Hornby one. Like I say, all I've done is added that crew in there. They're only blue tacked in because I have a Rapido Trains Hunslet on order, and when that arrives, I'm going to see if it'll go in them, because I quite like the thought of doing that. That was a bit of a rough start, but there you go. But yeah, I thought I'd just see how the stream goes and all that, because I know before it hasn't worked out. And this is basically what this is. Have a chat, run some trains, and that's that. I know it shouldn't be too popular, being, just approaching 1:10 in the afternoon. Be more popular in the evenings, but I just want to see if it runs, and then I will do it a few evenings if it all works out fine. Now, turns out in the video I made on this Barclay, I completely forgot about this plan. I said the reason I was reviewing it when I did was because I was going to have it weathered. Well, as you can see, I probably filmed that back in March, February time. And, you know, you can see here it's still not weathered. It's because I drummed into my mind that I'd love the rust effect on the smoke box, and you know, I thought it would be nice, you know, and I completely forgot about it until I rewatched the video not long ago, because it's so long in advance I film. After a while, I tend to watch one of the videos that are coming out anytime soon or have come out, just to see what quality they are at compared to what I have been filming. And basically, I just watched it through, and I heard me say, oh, the reason I'm planning on filming it, why I'm filming it now, is because basically, the packet's slowing right now. Basically, I'm going to have it weathered. And it was a plan I had with my friend, and I never done it, basically. That's as far as that went. But it got reviewed in the end, and sadly the prices have gone up on them. I think they're about 70 now, which in nowadays it's probably worth it, but you know, it's nice if you get one for 50. It's a shame there's not many. I can't think on the top of my head of a ready-to-run loco at £50, at least something like this. What's good is it was an 060 as well. An 040 might be fine. I say that, I can think of one that would be £50. It would probably be the Hornby 040 probably, but anything that isn't an 040, you know. It's always nice to pick up a bargain. If I just reach up here, this is my standard 5. If I just put it between the tracks, that's my standard 5 there. That's a Bachmann one. It's an aged one now, but it was 15 quid. It was like my bargain of the century. I loved it. I've talked about it on a live stream a couple times now, but it was a very good bargain. Runs perfectly fine, nothing really wrong with it. It's even got real coal added. That was by the other owner, previous owner, but you know, I think it's quite nice. I quite like it. Yeah, it's definitely a bargain. Runs like a dream. I love running it. And to be honest, if I put this in the terms of, say, the new locos that come out today, the only thing it's missing out is tender pickups and a painted cab. The cab has detail, it's just not painted. apart from that, I would consider that as a, you know, like a new loco. But yeah, it was that and a Pullman coach together for 30. So if you split it, it's 15 each. And yeah, it's quite nice. If you want to go further into bargains, I've got a job lot, and if you split everything up evenly, I got an Iver. It didn't have its tender, but the Iver cost 60p if you worked it out. If you split everything, it was 60p each. So yeah, I've got an Iver that after a service, it worked, and I've given it some love. It's got a tender now. My friend found one in a model show, and it was, what was it, £2. So it, you know, it was, they're £20 on eBay everywhere for some reason. So that's that. I had to go painting it, but made a bit of a mess of it. So I need to sort that out at some point. But yeah, that's the standard 5. I think it's a nice loco. It runs like a dream, and in general, it's just nice. I know the Pecket's running fast. I got a story behind the Pecket. I nearly made a video on a few occasions about it. This Hornby Pecket, I bought it on Boxing Day one year. It was the year it had come out. I can't remember how long ago that was now. But yeah, it was quite it was new at the time when I got it. And from new, it never really liked running. I had to run it for about 2 hours before it worked. I was like, oh, no, I won't hand it back and that. I'm sure it'll be fine. Done a few investigations on it, and I think a year or so had passed, and I went, right, I'm fed up. Of course, it would have been gone past the warranty by then. So I gave it to my friend and said, hey, have a look at that. He said the wiring on it was absolutely awful. Hornby's factory had royally mucked up the wiring that was linked to the DCC chip, and it meant my friend didn't even know how it still ran like it. It was quite confusing, and it was such a shame. It was it was annoying. So anyway, he worked on it. It's got a base keeper plate off his packet now, and it's now hardwired to a different motor. I think the motor had been a bit burnt out thanks to this dodgy wiring Hornby had done. So it's got a motor that's from Wish, which if you've seen my scale speed video, you'll see it goes stupidly fast, like that. I was worried there was going to be derailment then. But yeah, which is like a scale speed of 160 miles an hour. Thank you for the stream. Unfortunately, I have to go to work now. Hopefully drop in again soon. Thank you, Middleport. Hope you enjoyed work, I guess. Yeah, take care. I don't know if I'll go on stream, but if it's still going well, then yeah, I shall do some more. Take care. So yeah, this Pecket is quite fast just due to a fault thanks to Hornby, and it was sort of my fault for not handing it back and getting a replacement, but it does run now. It's just a bit fast. Maybe a sensible motor in it in the future would be nice, but to be honest, my friend got it working, so I'm quite happy that he got it running and all that, so I'm not going to whinge. I had another problem once with locos themed around the DCC chip, and that was a Hatton's loco. That was the Andrew Barclay Coronation. Now, it wasn't a big problem. It was a very simple fix. It actually links to this Pecket as well in a way. Basically, I was running it in, and it would go along, and then all of a sudden it would go straight into reverse for a few seconds. It would go backwards, and then it would go back forward. And I was very, very confused as to what on earth was wrong. And in the end, it turned out that Hatton's had sold a DC model, for the price of DC, but given it a DCC chip. I've still got this chip, so that was a shame, and it had to be taken out and that, and I borrowed my P classes. In the end, I realised, hang on, this packet's hardwired, it must have, it'll have a blanking chip. So I was like, right, let's take a look. I found out that it was the same pin chip, I think it's 6-pin as the Hatton's Andrew Barclay. And basically, I asked my mate who fixed it, because he still had the chip. I said, can I have the chip? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And he gave me the chip, and, it's ran ever since normally. But I still got the DCC chip. I could sell it on, really, but I've kept on to it. It's not like I don't think I'll ever go into DCC. There have been a couple locos that have convinced me and made me think, oh, maybe I should, but it's too expensive. My 94XX was the main one that made me think, oh, shall I do it? But nah, it's too expensive. DC, that go the old-fashioned way. Plus, it would be a pain to convert all my locos to DCC, especially the Trang ones. I'll run them how they're built to run. So yeah. So I'm just going to get some up, and I shall be right back. I'll leave the packet in shot so you can see it. Right, I'm back. Yeah, I was sat cross-legged and me leg went dead and all pins and needles, and that's not pleasant, so... Right, I'm back though. I'm normal, I think. Though it's hard to define what's normal and who is normal. There you go. Right, so let's set off this packet again. And there's the Barclay. It's a lovely loco, that Barclay. I quite like it. It's, like I say, you don't have to spend lots of money to get great enjoyment out of the model railway. It's just a shame that the locos you really want are normally the ones that are more money. Shall we stop this Barclay? And I can show you what she's like. It's quite a vibrant red. I think that was the initial thought why I would weather it, have it weathered. But I decided not to in the end. It's a nice loco. It's, like I said, it's quite vibrant, but I like it. I like the white rims on the wheels, and that makes it stand out. And the wasp stripes on the front. If I reverse it a bit, you can see the wasp stripes on the front. And I think that's quite nice on this. Just waiting for the packet to pass. Well, I'll stop her, but... So yeah, I out of the two, I probably prefer the packet. Out of running characteristics, probably would be the Barclay, just for the fact that the packet's got that super fast motor in it. If it had the original motor from factory, then I would have gone with that. But no, I think the packet overall is a nicer loco. Of course it would be, because it's a more expensive loco. It's got a nice die-cast saddle tank and that. It's got a good weight. It's, it's decent. It's nice and strong and all that. But the Barclay's it's a better runner at the moment, really. But let's set that off. So yeah, I know I apologise for unrealistic speeds. Well, the Barclay can do a more realistic speed, but yeah. Here's a loco that's was meant to appear on a video. It's a Hornby Hymac. It's the old, well, like Triang Hornby. It's got the old motor in it. Just making sure it's got the right clearance. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice model. I bought it as a non-runner on purpose because I was going to do a video on restoring it. Then I think I filmed it and found out the video would be quite boring. Or it was either that or it didn't work in the end. I think that might have been what it was. It was a simple fix in the end. The main reason why it didn't run really was basically it had... I'm just watching one of me wagons' wheels aren't turning every so often. Right, I'm getting sidetracked. No, it was a non-runner, and basically on the motor it was missing... I don't know if you're familiar with these motors, then you'd know there's this little brass bit that pokes out onto one side. I think it must touch a brush arm. And basically it was missing, so it didn't have that electrical contact. And this model come with a resistor. Now, you're not strictly needing a resistor, but they're there for a they're there. I use the resistor arm. The resistor come off. They tend to do that when you're fully dismantling one of these, because it did have a full dismantle and clean up and all that, very thorough. But basically, the resistor fell off, and I was like, yeah, you don't strictly need it. So I cut the arm off it and then soldered it from the brush arm to the side. And it fixed it, but I think I accidentally figured out about that, how it was meant to go. When I did know something was missing, but I was trying to make it out of copper and all that, but it mustn't have been proper copper or something. It wouldn't work. Anyway, I made this thing out resistor and it worked. The resistor can reach both sides. I did check once I cut an arm off it, but I haven't put it back in. It runs fine. I went on Twitch before I went on here. This is another streaming service. Done about 20 minutes on there. Just see how it went. Just see how it go along and all that. And it was alright. No one went on there though, because not many people use Twitch for model railways, do they? It's used mostly for games and all that, and vlogging and all that. But I thought I'd go on there and see how that went, because if I can't stream on YouTube, I'll use that anyway. And I don't know if I'll do Train Simulator in the future on live streams, possibly if it works. That's the fire alarm, ignore that. I'm just going to turn the thing off so you don't have to hear that. It's only a drill thing. If I can figure out how to use this. And just as I figured out how to mute it, it stopped. There you go, it was just a drill, they do that. Typical to happen on stream. I'm going to speed up that Barclay a little bit. Only a little bit. It's a nice loco, that. And the Middleton Leeds wagon. I got that, you won't believe it, Middleton Railway. It's only exclusive to the railway. It's a Dapol one, but made exclusively for the railway. I think it was about £15. The box is over somewhere, and I'd have to go get it. But, yeah, it is a nice wagon. It's got a coal load in it. Not strictly realistic. Well, it looks all right. It's a good coal load. It's just it ain't got that gloss of real coal and that. But yeah, the Middleton Railway had that. It's all come down from Leeds. I got that Middleton wagon's a year old now. Well, I've had it about just over a year. yeah, about a week ago, I think. That 08, I said about it earlier this stream, but it's one I painted. It was originally BR green. I bought it with some leftover cash. It was about £30 on eBay. It was in BR green with yellow rods, which I found out. I believe it was painted, those rods, because I found red underneath. Anyway, I stripped all that paint off. I removed the logos and the numbers and all that. And painted that. That's about a year ago now as well, actually. Yeah, it would be about a year ago I got it this week. But yeah, it's a nice loco, that. Either this week or next week it'll be a year. But yeah, I painted that up, BR Black, which is my favourite livery on the 08 Shunters. I really like the BR Black. With the red rods, it looks really nice. I had some running troubles in the end, but because it didn't want to run forwards, only backwards and all that, but it's all sorted now. Had its all connecting rods off and everything. But yeah, I painted that up. Just spray paint. It's a bit rough in a couple patches, but it's quite nice. I quite like it. Hi Joe, how are you? I'll get your prairie out in a minute, then you can have a look at it. I know I said it was National Coldball running, but you can have a look at your prairie. But yeah, the 08, it's quite nice. It's Fox Transfers, the little crests on the side. They gave me them a couple years ago to review. And the fuel gauge I picked out with a bit of white acrylic paint. Yeah, it's quite nice, that. Right, Joe, I assume you'll want to see your prairie, because I know you like your prairie. I'll just get her out of drawer. And tell you what, I'll stop the packet. And I'll put her on where the packet is. So you can just about make out the Model figures in there. They're quite nice. Just move these wagons back a little bit. There's your prairie, Joe. There it is. In its glory. It's got a nice real coal load. You can see here, I'll slowly take it up. It'll jolt into life. I've told you about this before, but then after a bit you can slow it down. But yeah, it's a nice loco. I like my small prairies, they're nice. It's been nicely repainted. I quite like the livery it's in. Because I think it was originally in British Railways. There you go, Joe. It's with a small freight train. Hope the stream's running smoothly. This is the main reason I'm doing it right now, is just to see how smooth it's running, if it's running any good. But yeah, there's your prairie. Nice loco. I enjoy running that prairie. It's quite nice. And like we've discussed before, it suits the railway quite nicely, actually. It looks quite nice. That's no problem, Joe. I thought you'd like to see it. Plus, it's in the drawer by the layout. That's where I've been keeping it if I don't have it on the layout. That was cleared. That drawer was cleared out a little while ago to accommodate space for some locos. At the moment, it's got me Class 50, Class 58, me 14XX, and then I have the Prairie in it. It's also got summer that will be revealed next year. Little project I done. I'm sure I've told you about it, Joe. Yeah, it's a nice prairie, that. I think the rods and that have been weathered on it as well. It's quite nice. Definitely does the job. It's the loco, to me at least, the loco you think of if someone says GWR is a prairie. Probably a small prairie first, then the large prairie. It's prairies and panniers is my main thought of the Great Western. Well, those are the ones we've worked on, isn't it? Then I go into thinking about the larger ones like hall classes and castles and kings. Because I quite like the king class. I nearly bought a king when instead of that packet in a Ruston I bought, I nearly went and bought, I went and bought that king. It was a BR Blue one because I quite like the BR Blue livery on the king class. I think it suits them really nicely. Have you ever been to Steam Museum, Joe, in Swindon? If you haven't, I recommend it. There's King George V, I think it is, in there, number 6000 king class. That's quite nice. It's in the spot where Evening Star used to be. So a few nice locos in there, even 9400, which is... It was either you or Alex who said to me about the 94XXs on Saturday. They were on about the smoke boxes overhanging around the buffers. Not yet. Yeah, it's definitely worth going. It's nothing like not much like York, but it's worth going. I'm just gonna go quickly because someone's buzzing me now. If I figure out how to mute. Right, I'm back. Apologies for that. That was a parcel that had arrived. I finished early today. I've been doing some darkroom work today. Developing some photos of L92 actually. And James, one of the Jameses, I had a photo of him I took on that film camera. Of course, I showed you, Joe, didn't I? This prairie taken with a film camera. It wasn't a brilliant photo. Sadly, it was the worst end of the film. But I've been doing that. I'll be doing some more tomorrow, getting some good photos out. But yeah, that was a parcel, so I do apologise. It's an annoying buzzer as well. It's fairly new and it drives me up the wall. I've already had a second distraction. I've had this stream because I had the fire alarm earlier on. Only testing, of course. There's no actual fire. I know that because I'm not the one who... Because if there was a fire, I would probably be the cause of it. Well, I'm glad you liked the picture. I wanted to try it out because with a film camera, you've got to get around so far until you actually get to a first proper photo and that. And I took took quite a few photos just anyway because I thought, maybe I should just do some model railway ones. Sadly, only 2 come out, and the best one was actually of your prairie, so your prairie's got good luck. So yeah, I was glad you liked it. I think if anything, I should have took it up a bit closer, but I could always crop it in, or if you've kept it, because feel free to save it, Joe. because of course it is your loco, you can zoom in on it. But yeah, that was the way these locos used to be photographed. Hey, I've got something you'd like to look at. If I got me, where is it? I don't know where it's gone now, hang on. I don't know where it is. It's for, it was just me dusting thing. I've done it anyway. If I move, I'll peck it. I bought this in a charity shop in before I'd even started volunteering at the railway. It's East Somerset Railway parcel van. Cranmore Railway Station, Shepton Mallet. It's oversized for 00 gauge, but I keep it on the layout. It actually is the vehicle I tend to use to prop my phone up when filming trains low down if I use my phone. I often use the camera now. I use a Canon camera mostly now for my YouTube videos. This on here now is a phone, because I do not know if I can stream using my camera. I assume I could somehow, but it's probably through the computer and all that. And the computer's not in the same room as the layout. The computer's in another room. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I quite like it. It's good character, that. But yeah, it don't get seen and shot often because I like I say, I used it for propping up the phone, plus I don't really film literally just down here much, because it's got no scenery there apart from the buildings. Nothing on the floor, no painted tarmac or anything, you know. But yeah, it's a nice little thing, that. I saw it and picked it up because, of course, East Somerset, I used to go there a lot. And I've always had a link to that railway. Have I found an L92? No, not yet. I found a 4555 the other day. It was about 80 something quid. But I didn't get it because I didn't have that on me. Well, it was on eBay, but I didn't have 85 quid then. But L92, so since we've had L92, I have only actually seen 2 models of L92 come up on eBay, and I've checked nearly every day. There was a couple weeks I skipped. And believe it or not, after I bought my large Prairie, one come up, but it was DCC fitted. Now I know I could have changed it, but you know, it would be cheap. I could get one cheaper if it was DC. But yeah, I haven't found one yet. When I will find one, I'll get it as soon as I can, really, because L92 just seems to disappear the second it comes up on eBay. The one did stay on there for about a week or so. I think that was the first one I saw, and it was on Rails of Sheffield, and I think the only reason it stayed on there was because Rails of Sheffield didn't put L92 in the title. They just put London Transport Pannier Tank. So yeah, it's a shame that. But yeah, L92 is hard to get. I have considered and nearly have bought a normal, standard London Transport one, like L94 or 97. But then I thought about the transfers, and I don't know if I'm sure there are the right size transfers somewhere, but I don't really want to do that on a panny. I just would rather have it in one go. Can I? Yes, I could actually. I have considered that before as well. So I quite like the Backman Prairie they done of it in BR lined black, because I quite like BR lined black. And I nearly did go for one and then go, I'll renumber it, but I might as well go for the one that's already done. It is in a different livery as to what she is now, but I think the Bachman one's in the same or very similar livery to what your Prairie's in, Joe. It's a shame this one, Lima didn't make a 45 XX and only 4575s. Because if that was a 45, you could have very easily have had that renumbered. You got nothing on the buffer beams, which is really useful because you can just sling on any numbers then. If you wanted to make that into something like 5542 or any other number you wanted instead of whatever it is now, I can't remember what it is. I'll stop it now actually. 4577, that was it. Sorry, I stopped it out of shot so I could read it. You've literally got plain buffer beams to put transfers on, and you can just buy etched cabside number plates off Fox Transfers or light railway stores. I'm yet to try them out, but I've got about 17 quid's worth of stuff to buy off them. But I'm holding back until I get my Hunslet, so then I can buy everything in one go, and then it should hopefully save on postage. So I've been going for 46 minutes. On here. Going long. I think this is the longest a stream of mine has lasted on YouTube, like successfully. Is it running smoothly, Joe? Because if it is, then let me know. It'd be good to know if it all runs smoothly, because then I'll be able to do some more of these. I don't know if you've ever seen these, but around Britain, the telephone boxes have been, some of them have been modified, and they rip out all the telephones out of them, and I think the community can buy them for like £1 or something, I've heard. And you can basically, they put shelves in them, and then people do a community thing where they put books in there. Then you can take a book, or if you got one, you can leave one in there. And that, I don't know if any of you have seen one of them, but I got one in model form. If you've ever heard of Rocket Railways, they do a box for about £10, and it's all. They don't like to say no to people, and if they get a bunch of stuff, they tend to get stuff that they can't really sell on. And I've bought a few boxes of them before, but a couple of these were in the first one. You might just be able to note a red thing there, and that's another one. That one's actually got a door on it. But the effect for the books is literally snipped up barcode glued in there. I gave it to someone who actually uses these book things, and I told them, make that, because I thought they'd like that, and they did. They made it for me. It was their idea using barcodes, and I think it's very effective. Like from a up close, when you point it out, it's but from a distance, it's really clever. You could even paint in the lines of them, really. And the shells are made from a bit of fencing, an offcut of fencing that was in the box, not book. I'll put that back. That's by the cafe. Also had a car in it and a canoe, and I stuck it on the top. But yeah, it is. So what do you think of this Barclay, Joe? I quite like it. It cost me £50 a while ago, and it was brand new. Now they're about 70, but I think they're quite nice. They're not like top detail, but they're good runners. I haven't you quite like, yeah, I think it's nice. For National Coal Board, it's got quite a vibrant livery, and it could do with weathering. I know that. Turns out I forgot I was gonna do it and have it weathered. I think I was gonna get someone to do it, but I quite like it as it is. I'll run it as it is. Yeah, it's quite nice. I like the wasp stripes on it. If you look at it directly from the front, it looks quite unusual. It looks quite beefy. It looks like it's got some strength bit to it, really. So the cylinders are quite large. But yeah, it's good that. Yeah, there's your prairie, Joe. Might as well run it whilst you're on stream. So is it a day off for you, Joe, or is it finish early or something, or are you on a break or something? I finished early today. Quite early today. I'll finish quite early tomorrow as well, actually. It's quite good. No, I haven't serviced your prairies since that initial service. I hope you get better soon, Joe. It's not fun being unwell, is it? And the thing is, you tend to like the concept of a day off if you know, being ill. But then when you're actually ill, you wish you weren't. You wish you'd rather actually do the day. But yeah, I hope you get better soon. Hopefully your running your prairies cheered you up a bit. Have I ever told you about my my mock-up of S1000? Well, basically I found this for £11 when I went to see the Britain's biggest model railway. It's just a Bachmann non-corridor suburban coach in like the BR maroon. But it's probably one of the closest things you could get to S1000. There's no problem, Joe. I thought I might as well run it. I know I said it would be a national coalboard running session, but if you come on, then I might as well run your loco so you can see it. Yeah, I still got the Barclay running, haven't I? But no, I think this is one of the closest things you could get to S1000. So that's what I have. I want to get some blood and custard mark ones at some point. Yeah, I think it's the closest you could get, because the thing with S1000 is it's very unlikely there's going to be a model of it ever made. If there is, I'd be quite happy, but S1000 was an experimental coach because of its fiberglass body and all that. I don't know if you know, but the underframe of S1000 was from a very bad railway accident in the UK, where I think it was a steam and an electric loco collided, and the bridge above them collapsed on top. It was quite bad. But the underframes stayed, and they built S1000's body on it. You can read that on the East Somerset Railway's website. If you haven't, Joe, I recommend actually going on the railway's website. The website's really useful if you look up locos and that, and even the coaches and that. You can learn some quite interesting stuff about them. I learned something about Lady Nan once. I think she ran for your railway museum or something once. I can't remember, don't count me on that, you have to read it. But yeah, it's quite amazing to think that. The Lewisham crash, I think it's called. Search it up if you can. It's worth looking at, because, well, it's quite interesting to know where our coach's underframe come from, really. To think that it survived into preservation as well. It's, only an experimental thing, and it's like one of our most used coaches. Though she won't be in service now, will she, till about March at the earliest, because we don't use her on Santa trains, I don't think. I think we tend to use her on open coaches. Yeah, have a look later on. Yeah, it's worth looking at. And also reading about the coach on the railway's website. It's worth looking, because well, it's just worth looking in general. It's quite interesting. Tell you what, Joe, you'd find shocking about that Barclay that cost 50 quid. I put that coach out of the way. It's got a bit of cab detail painted. It's only a little bit. It's only a couple pipes and that, but it's nice to have. Yeah, I thought so, because she's having some work done to her. They can sort out that window then. I like S1000 though, it's something a bit different. Though talking to an ex-guard, he said most guards at this railway would love to set it up the line and put a match to it. That's just because at the end of the day, the Mark 1 coaches, you've got, you know, about 4 doors to lock up. And that, well, it's quite quick to lock up a Mark 1, as S1000 takes, in the time you can do about 3 Mark 1s, you still do an S1000. Hello, Charlie McGowan, if I've said that right. Good morning from Toronto. Nice to see you all out. Thank you. Yeah, this is Roger Bay. My loop layout, my main layout as I call it. You can see I'm having a bit of a national coalboard running session, as you would have read from the title, but Joe's in the chat, so I'm running his loco because I've currently got on loan from him. I gave it a service for him a little while ago. It'll have a second service before it goes back. But yeah, the other loco that was running earlier was this Hornby Peckett, which has some Modelu figures in it. But yeah, I might put her back on in a bit, but I shall see. I noticed earlier, because not long ago I started a stream on Twitch just to see how they are, and I was running an old loco and my newer standard 5, and my combis, the one for the older loco was significantly warmer to the other, and even now the Prairie's controller's a little bit warmer than the other one. It's just from what they draw. What make Modelu 3D. Now these little ones are random assorted. Those you can get off eBay, like 100 in a pack from China. These are, I think these are old Airfix ones. I don't know about that one. That was from a box. But the ones in that packet are Modelu. They're not the cheapest of figures, definitely not, but they're really good on detail. Modelu have every crease in every jacket, every finger visible. It's very, very good. They're 3D printed. They're based in Bristol as well, which is quite suitable putting them in the packet. But I plan to put them in my 16-inch Hunslet by Rapido when it arrives, because I'm really looking forward to that. I'm itching to get it. They've got their painted samples in now, but I want to hold it. I'm planning on renaming my Hunslet when it arrives. When it arrives, I can do some measurements up and, you know, try it out. So I want to make sure I got the right width on the nameplates. I know they'll be long enough, but I want the right width, because I have contacted Rapido on, I think it was Instagram and through email, but they never replied because I wanted to know how big they were, because then I could have ordered them in advance. But that's alright, I'm not fussed. But I am quite looking forward to having it. But yeah, Charlie, they're Modelu 3D. Basically, model with the letter U and then 3D. They're on Instagram if you have that. They have their website and that, of course, as well. But yeah, I definitely recommend Modelu. The ones from China that you can get for about 100 in a pack, they're quite cheap and all that. I think they've gone up in price now, but they're very useful for painting and mucking about with. Like, say if you, it's probably put your Modelu people in your loco cabs, or in the cabs that are really visible. But then you can use stuff like these, paint them up and put them in cabs you can't really see much, or like say low light cabs. and then you can use them in coaches and that, because you've got to snip their legs off for coaches, which sounds a bit brutal. Have I got our Ivet? I have 3 models of Ivets. 2 are Hornby, 1 is Bachmann. The Bachmann one I want to have renumbered at some point in the future, but that'll be summer, like I say, for the future basically. But yeah, I do have Ivets. I got, like I say, 2 Hornby ones, which one doesn't run at the moment. It needs an XO4 motor to put in it, and then the other one, it didn't have its attender, but Nathan got me one for £2. But I had to go, because the Ivet, I put a bit of gloss paint on it, glossed it up, one of the Hornby ones, and I went to gloss up the tender, but I rushed it and made a bit of a pig's ear of it. It's alright from the distance, but I want to redo it at some point. I was thinking about that last night actually. It's quite funny really, because the battery on my phone isn't brilliant anymore. It's sort of dying down now. But because I've got a 3-meter charger, but it's still not long enough. So I've got a laptop plugged in and going as far as it can, and then plugged in the thing to keep the phone up on charge. We've been going for an hour now. I think this is the longest stream I've done in a long time, because before the tests have failed. I don't know if I'll keep this on the channel or not. I see we've got 4 people on as well, which, considering it's about 2 o'clock now, that's quite good. That's good going. Very good price for it. It is brilliant price, because everywhere I've been looking, like on eBay, they've been varying between £15 and £20, and I wouldn't want to pay that for a tender that's about 40 years old. So thank God he found one for £2. I did offer to give him the money for it, but he said, "Nah, don't worry about it. It was getting rid of loose change." So yeah, I was very happy with that. But yeah, I just need to work on the tender again, sort it out, because I want to try and keep the crest and the lining on it if I can. But I'll only do it if I can, really. If not, transfers, but I don't want to have to spend money on transfers. I'd rather use the paint I got and not cost me a penny, and just be careful with masking tape. So my small Prairie Joe, my 4575, because I haven't got a 45XX yet. But when I plan to get one, it'll be 4555. But my 4575, it's half through. Well, it's halfway through being renumbered as 5542. It's got the cab sides on. I just need to, when I next see Nathan, pass the loco to him, and then he can do the buffer beams for me. I've removed the numbers off the buffer beams. It's just he's got transfers, and he said I asked him if he'd do them for me, and he said yeah. So I'll do that. Which reminds me, I have to message him, because I know he originally wanted some transfers for his N2, which I'll happily give him some if he's renumbering my loco for me. But I added the cab sides on so we can run it in a running session. If you've never heard of his channel, it's Twonkfield Railways. His little micro layout he built in a day, but he's slowly been working on it and modifying little things here and there. We've got 5 people on here. It's quite surprising, actually. Quite surprising for the time of day, really. I think it would be more popular if I do live streams in the evening, which is when I probably properly do them. But we got nice lighting at the moment. Nice natural light beaming in through. It's nicer than having the artificial lights on. That black tanker in the back, just here. That come with one of the Triang 040s, like the Nellies. Yeah, that's in that drawer up there as well with the Prairie. It come with that for about £15, which was quite good. It's got the later CAN motor, so it was originally an S&D one, SDJR liveried one, but the previous owner painted it into a matte black, gave it British Railway crest, done a bit of wire work, used some wires to make handrails and that, and made it as close as they could, apart from the valve gear, to what the Nellies is based off, which was a dock shunter, which is really nice. It was a good bargain, I would say. It was on Buy It Now, I think, as well. So yeah, that tanker was very nice. And the one next to it, in the maroon, that was from East Somerset Railway Model Shop. It was in their bargain bin. And I said, it ain't got a price on it. And he said, I'll give it to you for £5. So, will I be at the engine shed soon? I'm not 100% sure. I'm hopefully this weekend, but I never really know till like Friday night or in the morning, really, when I wake up. Afternoon, Valleys 56. How are you, Chris? Are you good? I thought I'd just do a little test stream, so if it's running smoothly, then let me know. My Wi-Fi isn't normally too good, and I have been trying to do streams since I started the channel, and it's never worked. So I'm trying it now. And you may read on the title, it says National Coalboard Shunters running session. That is, at the moment, half correct. Joe's in the chat, and this Prairie is his, so I thought I'd run it for him so he could see it running. But before that, I had this, my Hornby Peckett running. Glad to hear you're well, Chris. That Peckett, I said earlier, had a story with it, how I had to have a friend fix it. Hornby mucked up the wiring on it. It went past its guarantee. It took about I used to have to run it for about 2 hours before it would actually start running properly. It took 2 hours to basically get running. It was a pain. And I let it run past its warranty and never handed it back, which was my fault. Anyway, it's got a cheap motor in it. It's been hardwired, got a cheap motor in it from Wish. There's a friend who done that for me, but it's a bit fast paced, but it's still a Peckett. I quite like it. It's nice. But yeah, and earlier I showed my bargain standard 5 that I got for £15. Oh, you got to love small Prairies and Pecketts. I said earlier, if I think of GWR, I think of stuff like Prairies and Panniers before I even think about stuff like Kings. And you'll be able to see my Lima 08 in the siding. That was originally BR green with yellow rods when I bought it, but I bought it to paint it into my favourite livery that the 08s wear, because I think the BR black with red rods really suits an 08 shunter. That box in the background, Country to Coast, was my second ever train set, and it was actually the train set that helped start this layout. My first one is the Caledonian Bell, which is that box there in that corner, but I had that a long time before I had this layout. But it was nice because I started running the Country to Coast in the Caledonian Bell a lot on the track mat on the floor, and then the layout appeared basically. Oh yeah, I think black 08s look really nice. One of the nicest liveries, I'd say, in my opinion. Yeah, I've got about 3 08s, 2 of the Hornby ones, so they haven't got the proper outside frames. One is BR green. Now I've put Yorkshire tea on the side of it because it actually suits it. I've done it as a joke and it stayed on there since. Then I've got a BR blue one. That's a lovely night. That's a lovely one. But yeah, the country to coast was actually my third layout. I started off, as many railway enthusiasts do, with Thomas the Tank Engine when I was little. That was actually bought at East Somerset Railway Model Shop as well. Went to the railway to visit it and went home with that. My dad had bought it for me. I played with that, basically ran it to the ground because I was quite young, very young. I wish I still had it really for sentimental value, but yeah, I don't. All I have now is a Clarabelle coach which has no couplings. But then I once bought the Caledonian Bell set, and I remember comparing it to the Thomas because the gear on the Thomas was, really worn down. But it happened. But I don't know whatever happened to the Thomas. And then, of course, like I said, Country to Coast set came one Christmas. And ran it with the Caledonian Bell, and then the layout started, and now I'm 70 locos in. 70 and counting, because I got a couple on pre-order. You'd be glad to hear I got the Hunslet on order, the Rapido Hunslet. I got Thorn number 1 on order, but I'm going to rename it. And then I got the Rapido Lion on order. Both Rapido locos. I want to try out what they're like out. I've seen the reviews and about Hornby's Lion, but I still think, even though Hornby's doesn't look too bad, I think the Rapido one will still be better. From what I've heard and seen about Rapido, they do really good quality stuff, so I look forward to it. Bullied Leader, oh, I bet that'll be good. That'll be nice. Yeah, I've pre-ordered locos for the first time. I've always bought them when they're there, sort of thing, or when they've just come out, but I pre-ordered these. The only problem I find with pre-ordering is you just want to see it. Well, the Hunslets were due in September, but they've been delayed because I think their sound chips and that have been all delayed and that. I think Planet Industrials had that issue as well. But they sort of have given people the option of having the decoder to fit themselves later on, I think. I watched a review on it not long before I started this stream, actually. That Model Railway guy I watched. They look quite... Yeah, the Kerr Stuart Victory. Yeah, I quite like the green. The green or the... Oh, I forgot, it's like a grey, isn't it? With IW or something on the side. I can't remember because I thought it looked good on one of my layouts. But I quite like the green one. I think the green one would suit every layout. I nearly ordered one before, but I thought I went with the Hunslet instead. I think it was the ROD. No, the ROD version is black, isn't it? There was a grey one though. I can't remember. I know there's an ROD one in black. But there was this grey one or the green I was looking at, but I went and ordered the Hunslet instead. Back in April. But yeah, I still like the thought of getting one, but I don't think I will. In fact, I find with the Victory, I think they'd be lovely models. They look like a nice... They seem a good runner, and from what I've seen and heard, they're heavy. But it's one of those locos that are quite... I don't want to say sound bad and say plain, but it's not their fault that they don't have lots of detail to model. They are... You know, they're the sort of thing where it is, you know, they've got it right, but it's, for some reason you got this sort of it not having as much detail, but it's you know, it's bang on how it should be. It's just got this thing because of the price tag and that. But yeah, I think I would have gone for one. Yeah, that is a good side to having less bits, is nothing falling off. It's a very good point, that. It's nice having the older locos because nothing really falls off them. But yeah, I even saw the Hunslet as quite, you know, fairly similar, though I think that's got a little bit more to it. But I think manufacturers make up for things in other ways. Yeah, exactly. I think if a loco is fairly plain, a manufacturer will make up for it somewhere. Like Planet Industrials, they've given it a die-cast boiler, and the cab detail looks really good. I think from what I've seen, the Hunslets, they look to have a really good cab detail, and they've got a firebox glow. I don't know how much is metal on those Hunslets, I can't remember. But yeah, I think... Am I still about on this stream, or is it a bit buffery? I've got a thing that tells me my FPS, and KBPS, whatever that is. That's alright, Joe. Take care. Hope you get better soon. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope it went smoothly for you. Yeah, that's alright then, because I saw that it went down to 0 FPS, and I thought, oh god, what's happening? That's the first lot of buffering, I think. Well, it's the first lot that's been reported. Because my Wi-Fi isn't brilliant. That's the reason why I don't stream a lot. If it gets really bad, I will stop the stream. So if it gets really bad, just say in the chat and I will say goodbye and end it off, basically. But yeah. I think, seeing as Joe's gone, I shall stop the prairie and put the packet on. The only thing is the packet looks like it's going a bit fast. From the looks of it, it's still going fine. God, it feels like it's gone all really silent all of a sudden. So, Chris, do you ever purchase old models, or do you go with just new? There we go. Because I like to get both. I like to get both types. I like the old ones because they're nice and simple. Like you say about like the Victories, is, you know, nothing really falls off them. They're quite robust and reliable. It's just they're noisier and not as smooth running, really, and they're not as deeply detailed. But I think the old locos have their certain charms, you know. I think every model has its own charm. I'll tell you what I like about the Victories. Because they haven't added coal, you can add your own, which is good if you like doing stuff like that. And I really like the fact that they've left it basically for the modeler to make it their own. I really like that. I don't think I've ever seen that done anywhere else or by anyone else. Can you think of anyone else? I can't. Not on the top of my head, at least. But yeah. Packet's got the Modeloo lamp on the front and a couple of figures. So we've got a couple people on at the moment. It's 1 hour, 19 minutes. If any of you were into photography or anything, an analogue photography and all that, I've done some darkroom work earlier today. Developing some photos of, developed a photo of one of the railway's firemen, which at the moment it needs about, just needs some scanning in and tweaking on Photoshop. And then another one of L92, the pannier tank. I have about 70 locos. That's the same as me, actually. I have about 70. I think I've just clocked over 70. Nearly all are second hand. Got quite a few for very cheap. Mended, repaired, renewed and weathered. That's what I like to do. The Victory's being numbered as XGWR666. I remember you saying in, I think it was Alan's stream, you said about that Victory. Yeah, that should be quite good. Yeah, I like second hand. You can get things cheaper. I do tend to buy me newer locos and that, of course, but yeah, you can get some good bargains. And like you say, this Trying Hornby high mech that I got to hang because it was running on the layout before I started the stream. That was, I think it was, I can't remember how much it was now. It must have been something like 20 quid. But it was a non-runner. It had a piece missing in the motor, basically. And basically, I got it working. Already replaced the safety valves with the Swindon version. Oh, I bet that looks nice, that. You'll have to put that on Discord, because I'd like to see that. Or if not, put a photo in once you've finished all your work on it. But yeah, this is me high mech I bought as a non-runner and done up. And then, if I reach even further... Now, you may have heard me say on Alan's stream a few times about this. My Bachmann Standard 5 that I got for 15 quid off a chap in Bristol. Yeah, the locos have cleared that. Nice BR black lined. I like the BR lined black livery. I bought that and it was... Well, I bought the Intercity XPT, if you know about that. Quite a rare model by Hornby. Never thought I'd ever get one because they go for really expensive money, but like over 200 quid. And the person selling it went, I know what it's worth. I know what it goes for online. But he said, but for the age of the model, you know, it's not brilliant. For the age of the model, it's... You know, it's definitely not worth it. And he said, I said, oh, I'd look after it and service it for him because he wanted to service it first. And in the end, I got it for about 70. Yeah, it was 70. And then I got this Standard 5 and a Pullman for 30 quid. So if you split it in half, that's 15 quid. I'll stick a progress photo on Discord. That Standard 5 is a good loco, and I like black locos, yeah. And it's one of the nicest running locos I got. It runs ever so smooth. Charlie, most of my locos are second hand and all are DC. Too late and expensive to digitise. Exactly what I'd say. DC is much cheaper, and I don't really want to start fitting DCC in locos that weren't DCC ready. Like even my Trine locos. I'd rather run a Trine loco on DC because that was what it was built to run on. I know of people who do conversions and work on them, but I'll happily run on DC. It's so much cheaper. There's only been a couple locos that made me think, shall I do a bit of DCC sound? And that one of them was the 94XX by Bachmann, but it's too expensive. And basically, I'm not really going to touch it. I got a DCC chip for an 6-pin DCC chip. I could sell it, really. It was a manufacturer's mistake why it was in there. But in the end, I was like, nah, I'll keep on to it. I have bought 2 locos on eBay that turned out to be DCC fitted, so that was good. Yeah, and if you're not a DCC modeler and you end up with a chip, you can always, you can buy some fresh ones, but you can tend to sell the chips on, really, can't you? If you're not DCC. Well, like I said with me Barclay, I got a chip for it, but I'm not going to use it like that because Hatton sent it. I paid for DC and gave me DCC. But like I say, I put the Peckett's chip in it because the Peckett's hardwired thanks to Hornby mucking up the motor and that. Well, they mucked up the wiring, that was it, and then it killed the motor, I think. But yeah, that's the Standard 5. Maybe I should run that on another stream. if it does take to success doing some streams, then I'll do some every now and then, and basically I'll I'll take some requests, some running requests and that. But I shall see. Got to get back to work now. Good chat. Thanks, Matt. Catch you later, mate. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Thanks for popping in. It was nice talking to you. Hope you enjoyed the stream. I shall probably see you in Alan's stream on Sunday. Take care, Chris. So yeah, this is... hope you're all enjoying watching some trains run. There's a couple of you still on, so I'll keep it going for a bit longer. Been going for an hour 26. So I hope you do enjoy watching these National Cardboard Locos. As you saw before, the Prairie was running. For Joe. Basically, he bought the Prairie for... I think he said he bought it for about £5. I think it might have been at a boot sale. And he didn't know if it worked. I brought a battery. He took it to the railway where I met him, and I put a battery on it. I said it runs, but it could do with a service. So, and he said, "Oh yeah, service it." So I serviced it, and that's a video for the future. But yeah, it's his loco, and I have been saying to him, "When do you want it back?" But he says, "Oh no, keep it longer, because he ain't got allowed to run it, and he likes seeing it, and he says, well, we both agree it suits the railway." But what's interesting is the previous owner must have had a problem with it because they've done their own pickup system. And I think that's really unique. It's quite unusual, but it's got pickups on the front pickup on the front pony truck. But yeah, it's quite an unusual pickup system, but it does work, and it works very well. I haven't really known it to stall. So it's a very reliable pickup method. But yeah, I like that Prairie, it's nice. I know he's on about selling his locos off. But yeah. I'll be sad when that Prairie leaves. Because I have a Bachmann one, but it can only run on this line. It derails on that one because the other one's a little bit rough in a couple places. The siding round here is very rough. It's purposely rough, really. It's quite an industrial thing. Got a steep hill to it, and then by the platform it's got a bit of a dip in it. That was accidental, but I'll say it's on purpose because it's quite rough and industrial and all that. A few areas where I had a few common derailments with locos, so I filled the spaces in with solder and filed it all down flat, and it seems all good now. Haven't had a problem since. We got one person on, so whoever it is, I shall say hello to you. Yeah, from the looks of it, the stream's still running fine. I assume it is. We're just we're approaching 1.5 hours. Oh, the second person's hopped on. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's nice running some locos. A couple of 060s, which is fair enough. It's nice. I don't know how long I'll do streaming for. Basically on here to run some trains and have a bit of a chat, basically. But yeah. I think the wash stripes on that Barclay is very nice, and like I say, the white rims on the wheels and the open back on the cab, it helps you see that painted detail that's inside. So if anyone does have a request for a loco for if I run again, pop it in now actually, and I'll try and put it in my mind, try and remember for next time. I might run some larger locos, might do a Heritage Railway look. Maybe if that's something you want to see, an East Somerset Railway mock-up. Run, a Prairie and an Ivet or something. With a passenger and a freight train or something. It's up to you, really. Stream's still running. I'm watching this thing. It tells me how many frames per second in kbps, whatever that is, stands for. Earlier, it did. I assume I can just watch the frames per second, because when it went 0, Chris at Valley's 56XX said it was buffered. So I assume that's what I got to look for. I thought it would mean it. Talking of 56XXs, East Somerset Railway had 5637 for about 20 years. And when she went out ticket last, she went back to Swindon, I think it was. Which her overhaul has started now, which is good stuff. Very good stuff, that. Nice to know a loco you've worked on is receiving the care it deserves and getting brought. Well, it's only just started, so it'll be a while until it's back in steam, but yeah, we've got quite a few 56XXs. I've noticed it's getting a bit dark outside, a bit grey. I think it might be trying to rain. It's hard to tell, really. So yeah, a bit of a mixed freight train really on both. Couple coal wagons in there. Wigan coal and Middleton Leeds coal wagon. I like both of them. Wigan coal and the Middleton one are my favourite wagons. I quite like the grey of the Wigan one, and the Middleton one I got in Leeds at the railway because it's exclusive to that railway. And I really like the Middleton Railway. I've got this, for some reason, I've really linked to that railway. If I could get there more, I'd volunteer there. I've said that since I visited. I've been to a few railways and I've never actually said that about them. But yeah, volunteer at Cranmore Railway, East Somerset Railway. And but yeah, I quite like Middleton. If I could get up there even a few times a year, for definite, I'd go there. I like the Y7 there. Is it a H they called it in GNR days? I can't remember, but it's a lovely loco. It's what I rode behind. Stood on the footplate of it and all that. It's very nice. And then they had the 3 coaches. Well, their coaches are like 4-wheel wagon chassis, and they've given wooden bodies. And when they go along, they creak and creak every bump, every bend, and that. But it's quite nice. It's all wooden, apart from the windows, basically, and the chassis, of course. But yeah, they got one with a bit of a balcony on it, which on the return journey is great because you're right by the chimney. And if you've ever seen my Middleton Railway video on YouTube, if you haven't, I'd recommend it. There's about a 7-minute clip within it of the return journey, right by the smoke box and chimney of the Y7. It's lovely, even going through the tunnel. I'm still here. Got you open in a window on my works PC. That's good. As long as you don't get in trouble. I don't want you getting in trouble thanks to me. Yeah, I like Middleton Railway. It's a lovely railway. It's got some nice stuff. Interesting as well. It's got a Peckett actually. But they tend... Peckett's are Bristol, of course, but they like to go with Leeds built stuff because it is in Leeds. They started off in one location. I was actually watching about it the other day, and they had to move. And there's this little bit of track by the tunnel that goes under the motorway. Can't remember what M it is. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. M62 was ringing a bell, but that's probably wrong. I can't remember where that one is, but yeah, it runs under a motorway anyway. But there's this bit of track and it sort of points out this is where the railway, if you followed that, that's where the railway started. I used to go around preserved railways, but I haven't been for a while. That's fair enough. I haven't been to many. I tend to go to one I volunteer at, and that's normally it for a bit. If I go to see my family in Yorkshire, then I'll go to at least one heritage line. Where did I go last time? I can't remember. I know I went to York Railway Museum. Was that it? I can't remember. I'm sure I went somewhere, but I can't remember. It was a shorter week though, so I can't remember. Might not have. First day I went somewhere, then we went to... yeah. I'd have to look back if I went to one. I'm sure I did. I always normally go to a heritage line. Because there's so many heritage lines up in Yorkshire, it's great. Oh yeah, I went to MC and Bolton Abbey Railway. That was a video on YouTube. I was sure I went to one. That's a lovely railway. That's where I rode behind the Hunslet Beatrice. That's a lovely line, that. The scenery is stunning. Even on the less scenic side, it's still... I say less scenic, but it's still very, very scenic. It's lovely. And they have a pacer there, which surprised me. But yeah, that's a good line. I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, that was a good railway, that. Very strongly recommend it. But yeah, I know what you mean. I really want to go to Bristol Harbour to get some photos. Even if it's on a non-running day, but I can never get there. But yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is a bit of a... time is a thing, isn't it? And getting to places. But yeah, I tend to go to around East Somerset, where I volunteer, and that's normally it. I'll be at Cranmore on Christmas Eve. I know that, because I've blagged to spot a second man on the Sentinel. I said I knew for definite I could do Christmas Eve. I said... I'll be able to second man others, but I won't know till, I won't know when I can second man till basically the week that it's on, so. But yeah, my dad took me all around the narrow gauge railways of Wales in the 70s. See, I can't recall myself ever going to a narrow gauge railway. I really want to though. I'd love to go to see a narrow gauge railway. Well, there's a bit of I think it's 2-foot gauge at MC and Bolton Abbey, but it's not running, it's only a tiny bit, and it's rotting away locos and that, and wagons and that. I say rotting away because they got a simplex there, and it's got holes in it, a few holes in it, because I took a photo of it with a film camera. I think I took a digital one of it as well, but I can't remember. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's but yeah, I'd love to go to a railway, a narrow gauge one. I don't know what one I'd go to. I think the Festiniog would be lovely. I'd like to go to Festiniog, yeah. That was the one Fred Dibner went to, made in Britain, I think. I can't remember. I think it was Festiniog. Well, I must say that Barclay's doing well, considering it stopped once for a few minutes. Festiniog's the best one. Yeah, it probably is. It's the most heard about one, I think. The ones on the top of my head is Festiniog and Welsh Highland. So, yeah. Turns out someone's going to try and message me one word at a time, so I'm going to keep getting notifications pinging through. Well, I was on a phone call earlier, and I'll probably end up visiting Midsummer Norton soon. Some week soon. Somerset and Dorset Railway. I don't know if I'll be able to get far through it, because of it being out of season. But if I can get round to the platform and take some photos, I'll be very happy, because I haven't been for years. But yeah, I'd like to take some photographs there. I got Barclay for 50 quid of Hatton's Marketplace because its website went down so no one else could bid. That's damn good, that. That's a bargain, that. I think mine was about 89, wasn't it? Whatever they had them at before they done that big sale they're doing now. That's one thing I haven't tried out is Hatton's Marketplace, but I really want to try, and I really want to get something off there. I don't know what I'd get, even if it was just like a wagon or something. Red one, isn't that Katie? Yeah, I think it is. I got Coronation. I quite like Coronation, it was a nice one. There was one Jenny Kirk had, blue, dark blue. I probably would have had that one if I didn't have Coronation, if they had it. Got a Lima 60 for 18. Big buck. Yeah, that is very good. Because isn't it the 60 that has the lights? I may be wrong. But yeah, that's a good bargain, that. Good price, yeah. Yeah, my Andrew that Barclay, I would have had that one that Jenny Kirk had. And with the P classes, because I got Bluebell. Now, I absolutely love Bluebell, and I always said when I bought Bluebell, if I ever got another one, I'd get the Pride of Sussex, because I really like that one. And then they stopped making it, and then all they had was the Army ones left. And, now it's, I think they've all sold out now in their big Christmas sale, haven't they? Light's definitely changing outside. Yeah, I thought it was raining. Gotta love the rain. At least it waters the plants. The other day, it was last week, it was raining, where it rains so hard it almost hurts where it hits you. And I was in my t-shirt walking along. There was this lady sheltering with her daughter, I think it was. Just under some trees that were overhanging, and I looked up at her and went, it's only a couple drops of rain. Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't look outside when it was raining last night where I am. But yeah, I know what you mean when it's like that. I'm not too fussed about the weather, though. Weather's never really fussed me too much. Just got on with it, basically. Yeah, I quite like I don't mind the rain, really. Quite like it when it's a strong windy day. That's quite fun, that. Holding on to my flat cap every 5 seconds because I think it's going to fall off, and it flew off the other day, actually. First time it ever flew off when I wasn't in a car, because of course if you catch the wind in a car with the window open, it sort of blows your hat into the boot, onto the parcel shelf and that, or into the back seats, but yeah, first time a gust of wind come along, blew it off, but it wasn't a very tight fitting hat. Because I got quite a few flat caps, you see, and they're all different sizes and thicknesses and all that. I'm enjoying watching me locos running. This layout hasn't seen lots of use lately. I've been focusing on another layout which I haven't revealed on the channel yet. I've spoke about in Alan Reynolds' stream a lot, and on Discord and that, but not on the main channel itself. But yeah, I've been focusing on working on that and doing concrete and all that on it. But this is my slow project. In the past, early this year, it saw quite a bit of work, but apart from that, I haven't really seen anything. That's how this layout seems to be. I tend to do a small bit of progress each year, and that's that. Layout looks. Thank you. Yeah, it's got some places where it's bare baseboard. I want to get some supports for the corners because the way it's quite a thick timber. It's a rather thick timber. Well, I think it's a type of manufactured board, but for what it is, it's quite thick. So it's got some good weight to it. But how it's built is it was in two halves when it come into the building. That's why I dread to move it when I got to move it out the building at some point in the future. Because moving's, it's going to happen at some point. But basically I had to line it up and then put these wooden blocks over and then put screws through them. That's what holds it together, but of course it's been flipped round. And there's, from the weight over time, it's slowly going sort of V-shape like that. I noticed the gap had got a little bit bigger down the centre. It isn't major, but it would be nice to sort of lift it. You can see I can lift it, but just have some sort of supports on the ends just to help it out a little bit. Nothing major. Really, I could get some coasters under each corner, stack a few up, but that's something for the future. It's many little things, basically. There's an area, you can see it there, where it's all grass and a bit of fencing. Yeah, I have no clue what to put there. I did have a bit of a church from a Rocket Railways box I could put there. Some other things and that, but I shall see. Though I did have the idea of a Fred Dibner memorial sort of thing, because I like Fred Dibner. I've devoted many hours of my life to watching Fred Dibner. And I thought put a chimney. I got his Betsy. You might be able to make out Betsy there actually, because she's on the layout. I thought putting that by a chimney and model of Fred, and that'd be good. But I haven't got round to that. Now I've put many of my hours into Fred Dibner. I went to his house. Bloke who had it after him, I think it was. He kept it how it was and ran it as a heritage centre. I think he still lived in it, but he ran it as a heritage centre. And I was leaving. It was actually around Christmas in Yorkshire one year. It had all snowed and everything, because I remember the car. We were iced out the car for a bit. It took us a while to get in the car, yeah. Well, anyway, we spoke to the bloke, and he was like, oh, I can do the 27th. And he was like, because that's when I got other people and that, and we were like, oh, wait, we're leaving that day. We're going south again, and then we'll not be up in Yorkshire then. And he's like, oh, okay. And in the end, he was very kind and generous and let us go in on Boxing Day. So one Boxing Day, I went round Fred Dibner's house. I think it was Boxing Day. But yeah, it was so interesting. You go in the bottom floors of his house and that. And we got to look through the window, because on his staircase he had this thing, he undone the latch and it went down over the stairs and you could walk over it, and it was extra storage. I think the owners of it now took a while to actually know that was there. But yeah, we were shown that through the window around the front. But his house, it sort of goes under the road as such. It's very good though, and of course he had his extension and all that. But yeah, it was very fascinating going around his garden with all the sheds still up and everything. His winding gear, you could look down his mine shaft, and oh, it was absolutely wonderful to see. And it was so fascinating. you learnt quite a bit going round there that you'd never saw on telly, you know. And in the end, the bloke had to sell up, and a lot of his winding gear, his pithead gear and all that, that's all gone. Some of his sheds have been collapsed. It's such a shame. But at some point in the future, which sadly won't be too long of a future, seen the programme? Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Sadly, though, not in the future, and sadly not too far in the future, that his house will just be known as a house. And people won't know who Fred Dibner is. You say his name and people go, who on earth is that? It's such a shame, because he's such an icon, to British history and the Industrial Revolution and all that. Proper down-to-earth bloke, But no, one thing he had in his house that you wouldn't have known was, because of his hearing wasn't great, because of course he was deafened down a bit because of steam engines and all that, and all the loud machinery he used and all that. He had his wife would always call him for his tea, but he'd never hear. So in the end, he got a bell and rigged it up on the end of a cord. So when it was time for his tea, his wife would ring the bell so he could hear that it was time for tea. And then there was one bit, and later on when it was a heritage centre, down from his drive they fitted fencing just to be a bit safer, because it's just a drop basically. And apparently there's been a few times where he got a bit too drunk and going home, and he ends up falling down and waking up the next morning down there. But yeah, it's quite interesting. You could go to the edge, because if you've probably seen that the edge of his house and that, you'd see a drop and it's a river. You can actually see where, because of course it's a cemetery and all that, see some gravestones in the river and all that where, some people had died. But I think his house, he said, the area, a lot of stuff was dumped there, so you could find quite a lot of interesting things. A lot of things were dumped there, and it's sort of, that's, he said, like with his mine shaft and all that, he wouldn't find much. Because he wouldn't have got coal, would he? He wouldn't have mined any coal or anything. I don't think if he wasn't too careful, he could have ended up finding a few coffins, couldn't he? But yeah, he was a down-to-earth, proper bloke, and he was brilliant. He was very good to watch, very entertaining. I've said this a few times lately. We need a new Fred Dibner on telly, someone similar to him. No one can ever beat him, really, but in my opinion at least. But we need someone like Fred on telly nowadays. Someone who will teach the younger generation about the Industrial Revolution and steam engines and that. So at the end of the day, we need more people interested, otherwise stuff like this hobby and that will die out. Luckily, on the positive side of lockdown, a lot of model railways started, and Guy Martin, yeah, he's very good. Yeah, I've watched a lot of his. He with the large prairie, didn't he? He was very good, because he overshot the platform quite a bit, I think. But he had this pocket watch, didn't he, in that episode, and he made his shovel and all that. Yeah, he's very good. He's quite good because he mixes the sort of dangerous drive, like his motorbikes and doing that ring and all that, and he's being a lorry mechanic but he does his own stuff. Yeah, he has his own Merlin engine, yeah. Blimey, I've watched that a few times because it's so shocking. It's because he said, didn't he, put it at full revs and it sort of tried to take off in the garage or something. Yeah, that was good, that. Yeah, Guy Martin's very good, he is, yeah. He's another one of these blokes who are quite genuine and all that. Because the thing with modern telly is a lot of people have got, lots of makeup slapped on their faces, and they got to act as someone they're not really. As you look at other, you see people like Guy Martin, that who are covered in muck and all that, and they say whatever, and you know, it's quite good. Your dad serviced Merlin engines in the Fleet Air Arm during the war. I bet that was interesting. I bet he's got a few stories to tell. Yeah, that'd be good, that. Yeah, nice bit of Rolls-Royce engineering, eh? I quite like Rolls-Royce stuff. Couldn't afford it, but, you know, I really like Rolls-Royce engineering, you know, the care that went into things and that. The Merlin is, brilliant. The diesel I sometimes drive, or diesels I've driven on standard gauge. The Sentinels, and their Rolls-Royce engine, because the Shrewsbury factory Sentinel Wagon Works was sort of dying out a bit, and Rolls-Royce bought them out and then made their Sentinels. So it's actually Rolls-Royce. So I have driven Rolls-Royces. The Sea Range engine or something. The supercharged and turbocharged 6 and 8 cylinder engines. They're very nice. PBA 39 hasn't. It was over 20 years ago she last had an overhaul. No, sorry. 20 years ago her engines was probably majorly touched, because she was overhauled in 2010 after a spring failure, but apparently her engine didn't seek much attention. And you know what? That engine runs as sweet as anything to this day. You worked with Rolls-Royce after the war too, on the Concorde Turbo. Oh, he's definitely got some good stories then. Definitely, 100%. Yeah, gotta love the Concorde. If you've ever been to Yeovilton, they've got the Fleet Air Arm Museum thing with that Concorde in it that you can walk through. I love that. I've been meaning to go back for a few years now, actually, because I like that place. It's very interesting. Like I said, as you can see, I'm a railwayman here, but I do have a general interest in aircraft. I don't know much, but you know, I have interest in transport in general. He took me there to see the Swordfish. Ooh. Yeah, and then they got that helicopter simulation, haven't they? And then you go on to like the aircraft carrier thing. That is good, that. Because they got massive screens at either end and video clips of the planes, you know, the aircraft landing and that. No matter what, there's that thing in your mind that says to duck. It's quite funny. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that museum. I haven't been for a long time, though. God, how long has it been? Probably about 7 years ago. 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. Probably 6 to 7. Blimey, it's been a while. But yeah, I used to go. Well, there was a period of time where I was nearly every weekend. I was either going to the Air Museum or Haynes Motor Museum. So I used to go. Oh, I've been to them places a ton, quite a lot, because we've got a year past and definitely made the most out of it. But yeah, I like that museum. It's very good. Yeah, the Concorde's very interesting, very good piece of engineering. So fascinating and that. Because it's one of the experimental ones, isn't it, at Fleet Air Museum? And that's very nice to look at. It's very fascinating. See what I mean, though, by 50 quid loco being really reliable? She hasn't stalled once this street. Well, nor has the Packet. But, you know, for a 50 quid loco 060, brand new as well it was. Very reliable. The controller's a little bit warm, but they get warm after going for about half hour, and they've been going for about 2. Yeah, it's been just clocked 2 hours on the stream. So yeah, I'll probably go in half an hour or something. Then we know we've got a good stream out of it. But yeah, it's a nice loco, that. Packet's lovely. It's got some good charm to it as you see it running by. I haven't ran that 08 for a while. I might, after the stream, put some power to it and see how it is. I won't do it now because it'll be a bit loud. I use the Gauge Master combis. For many years, I used those horrible, nasty silver controllers Hornby use from the train sets just because I had them readily available. And it was this year, actually, this layout went fully combi because the inner lines controller broke. I even pulled it to bits to have a look and that, and nah, it was something on the inside. So I opened it up and unsoldered the wires and put it in the combis. Yeah, I use combis now, and then I got one for the outer line. And if I want to run, well, the other layouts do use the silver controllers still because they built to that apart from the latest layout. But I might get a Hornby, you know, the things that go into the end of the track. I can show you some up there. You can just see them, you know, with the orange things. Get the cable for one of them and from an old controller and cut it so then I can just plug them in and then put the ends into the combis. Because if I want to use other layouts, I can literally take the wires out and unplug it and take it to another layout and use it, but I haven't got that far yet. One of the layouts doesn't even have power initially to it, no wires or anything. You literally add a bit of power track, it's a fiddle yard. Use the H&M, yeah, they seem to be quite popular, them. They're very good. These combis are, well, I knew the silver ones were quite bad. I went to a friend's house once and done a Sentinel Gala with him, and he filmed it for YouTube and that, and I ran the trains, you know, powered at the controller. I was surprised how good the combi was. Anyway, that was that basically, and then I knew for a long time I wanted to get some combis. And I got them, and that's amazing because it makes the old locos quieter as well. Yeah, the combis are brilliant. And I think they got a lifetime warranty as well. The Gauge Master combis are lovely. I like their controllers. If anyone out there actually wants a control, you know, wants to pick a controller but don't know what, I would recommend the combi. They do one line at a time, though Gauge Master do other controllers that do more than one track in one go, but I just got two separate combis so I can plug them in on the micro layouts. But yeah, they're very good. They've proved me quite well. The only thing is they get a bit warm compared to the Hornby ones, but I'm not as fussed about that. I've just noticed the lamp on the Packet is a tiny bit wonky. I've nudged it now and it's gone wonky the other way and back. Oh, this is a comedy thing, this. Oh, that'll do. But yeah, they are very good controllers. I find them very nice and very controllable. Very easy to control loco. And the numbers help as well because you can sort of map some locos in your mind. You know, you could say like my Sentinel, I tend to have it running comfortably and I go, right, I'll put it at 30, you know. Whereas before I was trying to mark things with post-it notes and, well, like little tabs and that if I had a certain loco and that. But I'll put it in my mind now. I haven't done scale speeds for a long time, since I'd done the video basically on it. But I was given a bit of software made on Microsoft Excel to basically help me compare scale speed. So it was like, say I ran, say I ran like, I don't know, the packet, to see the scale speed on there and put it on there, and then I'd say I serviced the packet and then done it again. I could compare like the efficiency and all that. That I got to try that out. I look forward to doing that when I have the time. You only have W4 packets, no P2 yet. Yeah, I like the W4. Oh, you mean the B2? B2's nice. I do want a W4. I saw Daphne in the model shop, and before I bought me Prairie, and that was very tempting. That was extremely tempting to get that, but then for the same money I could have bought a much larger loco, so I'd done that. Because Daphne, if you've seen photos of it, it looks really nice. But if you've seen, like, what's it? Seen it in the flesh, it's something else. It really is. If you haven't seen one in the flesh, I recommend looking in the model shop when you're next there if they've got one, because it is definitely worth it. Yeah, the B2. Yeah, I liked this National Coalboard one. When I could do with getting Henry now, couldn't I? The B2. But I got a friend who's got one, and they're going to lend me it once said project is finished, said layout. Because I got a layout I'm planning on exhibiting, basically. Hopefully in the future. I hope I'm not too loud. I'm quite close to the phone, you see. No one said anything, so I assume it's fine. And it seems to be happy sitting at 30 frames a second. The kbps is just jumping about all the time, really, but yeah. Sounds like that's alright then, thanks Chris. You were saying on Alan's stream what you've done in your life of working and all that. It was quite interesting, actually. Can't remember where you said now, but yeah. I quite like Alan's streams. They're quite nice to sit and watch and chat to. Good community on there. Because, well, I like the Monday Club, but I haven't really been on. I've been hopping on and off, basically, because it seems to, when it starts and finishes isn't a great time for me. Whereas a Sunday evening with from 8-9 o'clock, 8-9 o'clock till however long he finishes, it's much more ideal for me, so I quite like going on there. Yeah, he's good to talk to. Well, I haven't spoke to him on the phone personally, really, just on the streams, but he's, I always enjoy having a good natter with him and good laugh and all that. It's always good community on the live stream, though. It's always good. Chaz Nelson wagon, that's an old gunpowder van. It was a Dapple one. I really like that wagon. For a reason. I bought it literally for the name on it. I got a Lord Nelson at home as well. Are you going to join his website? Oh, I saw some. I heard about it. I haven't thought about it yet, but I might do. Because it's free, isn't it? I'll look into it properly after the stream, actually. Also need to remind someone to send me some dates, because I'm going to help him out with something, but they still haven't given me the dates for it. I said after the call, can you give me some dates? I've noticed one thing with the Barclay, the wheels seem a bit wobbly. Not massively. It seems fine. Just looks a bit wobbly. No, I'll have to look properly into his website, because Al's a good chap, he is. does look. If you keep your eye on the front set of wheels on this Barclay as it comes around, does it look a little bit wobbly to you? It's mostly the front one. I think it's the lining actually on them and not the wheel itself. I think that's what it is. Right, here we go, I'm back. I just sort of disconnected from the Wi-Fi quickly and added it back on, and it looks like I'm back. If I am actually back, then please do leave a thing, Chris. Because yeah, back. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, thanks for that. I just turned off the Wi-Fi and put it back on. That was it. That's all that needed doing. So I apologise for that. It sort of just, I was talking, then just noticed, you know. No, I was asking you, what's your favourite locomotive from your own fleet, from your personal fleet? Because, yeah, that was what I was asking you, and then I just saw, you know, it died. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, you know. I was starting to think, well, you know, I did say I'd probably finish at 2:30, and yeah. 3 people on at the moment, so that's alright. Well, this Barclay's doing well, isn't it? Yeah, it seems to run at 30 frames a second, this thing. At the moment, is your 9... Oh, yeah, you sent about that 9F. It does look good. I like the crusty 9Fs. They're quite interesting, aren't they? I wish I could find some... I don't know if there is any archive footage of the real things running, but if there is, I'd love to see it. You know, watch the crusty boiler 9Fs, you know. With the... Because, of course, the chimney up front, people always think... You know, automatically think that's where it'll come out when it's running along. But that's mostly for steam raising, that one, isn't it? Whereas the other one is what would actually be used, I think. I think that's what I heard anyway. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think it's like that. This is the most successful live stream I've ever had on this channel. So, I think I can conclude it. That's what you found out. Yeah, I found out about it a little while ago, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. No, this is the most successful stream this channel's had. The worst bit was when it just died. So, I'm very happy with it. So, I think I can officially say that I shall do another live stream in the future. I don't know when it should be, but I'll probably see if I can schedule it or something, so then more people can know, and I'll probably do it more towards the evening than anything else, because the thing is, around this time is more ideal for me on some days, you know, fortnightly sort of thing. But for others, I know it's not as good on time because, of course, of work and all that. Because I finish early at times, so it's more ideal for me in the day than night. But I'll sort something out now. Now I know that it can work. Early evening, possibly. I'd probably do something similar to Alan, if not a little bit earlier. Probably something like from 7 o'clock. But I shall see. But I'll see if I can schedule it. If not, I'll put it on the community tab or something. And then if anything happens, I can have the computer ticking over, as I say. Because at the moment I'm just relying on this phone, and I don't think I can do any chat settings on here. But yeah, I shall definitely now consider doing another stream in the future. But like I say, I'll try and aim for it to be an evening sort of thing. It's just when do I have a free evening, basically. I spend my free evenings normally doing some model railway projects, you see. But I shall see. If I got the free time, I shall do it. And I shall find a time. If not, the next one will probably be around a afternoonish time again. But yeah, I shall find an evening slot I can do at least one more in. Because if I can do streams, I'll do it. Because I really enjoy doing live streams. Because it's always good to have the community here. So you tend to have favourites depending on the times and that then? I don't really have a favourite. I have ones that stand out more to me than others. But, you know, I never seem to pick a favourite. It's like children, is it? You never pick a favourite. But ones that stand out to me really strong, really, is my C-Class in the SECR livery. Because that's just beautiful. And my Midland Compound 1000, which I reviewed. It was my last review on the channel, actually. That's a lovely loco. That livery's just stunning on both, actually. But, you know, things like my Terrier Merton stand out, and other locos stand out for different reasons, like my Hymac, actually. You know, this thing, I keep showing this on stream because I've got it to hand. It's right next to me. But it's, you know, it stands out to me because I fixed it, I repaired it, I've done some work on it. Your favourite loco is the 56XX, obviously. Yeah, I've worked on 5637 because we had it at the railway. The railway had her for over 20 years, but when her ticket last went, she went back to Swindon Cricklade, I think it is. So yeah, I've had some experience on a 56. That's a model I want to get. I want to get the weathered BR version and then renumber it to 5637. Because the 5637 I knew I joined the railway when she was near the end of her ticket, so she was worn and she was in the BR green livery, so I think I'd like that. I know they actually have made 5637, but I think it'd be nice to have the weathered BR green one. But yeah, 5637 had a bit of experience on that. 5639 and a 66, yeah, they're nice. Well, I've seen the models of them as well, and I would like to, like I say, get a model. But I've put other locos over in priority, really. Yeah, I've worked on the Ivet tenders, prairies, small prairies, and then we're doing up the large prairie, 4110. So I've experience on a large prairie eventually. An Andrew Barclay, a pannier tank. Trying to think, is that it? I've only been at the railway about 3 years. Oh yeah, and 5205's Goliath, because I helped overhaul her and then worked on her and looked after her. I spent 2 and a bit days in the cab of Goliath with the tin of Brasso doing the pipes, and it looked like museum quality when I was finished with it. Yeah, it wasn't the one that fell off the catch point, but it's one like that. 46447 is the one we got at Cranmore. It was from the Isle of Wight Railway. It's their loco. The owner of Lady Nan owned the E1 we had, and in an agreement he gave them the loco as long as we could have the Ivet on a long-term thing, because it'd be useful to us. And the E1's boiler, it had it basically, and I think the boiler, back when the owner had it quoted, it was about 100 grand, and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to pay that. And he said, you know, you have the E1 and we'll sort it. We'll have the Ivert. But it was scrapyard condition then. It was Barry Island well, I can't remember what scrapyard it went to. But, you know, it was in scrapyard condition and we had to restore it. And, well, I wasn't there then, but... And now I think she's only got a couple years left. She ain't got long left on her ticket till she's due an overhaul. But basically, the way it's going to go at Cranmore is 4110 will be finished. Then we've got 4247. And then once that's done, it'll be the Ivert's turn, basically. That's the way it's going to go. Because we got our overhauls lined up. But yeah, it's going to be nice. I like the Ivert. It's... I like my Great Western engines, but what's so nice about the Ivert is it's got a rocking grate, a dropping ash pan, which is just so nice. And it, in a way, it's nice to have the awkward locos and the not so awkward loco, because it makes you appreciate it more. Yeah, it's ticket. Yeah, that's what it's nearing the end of now. Yeah, it's 10-year ticket, and then it'll want an overhaul. I'm just gonna go for a couple minutes. I need to get a drink and all that, so I should be back in a minute. Okay? Every time I go to mute, I load up to do a comment. See you in a sec. Right, I'm back. Sorry if I jump scared you. From the looks of it, we've got 2 people on and the stream is still running fine. I won't stay on too much longer, because I better go soon. I'm annoyed because I lost something that's useful, and I had it on me in the stream, and I've misplaced it. I found it. So, I've got something to show you all on here, so I'm just sorting it out a little bit. I hope I wasn't away too long for you. Right, here's this thing to show you all. Well, it's a, let's put it in better light. It's a Hornby Bagnall. I know it's a bit further on, but it's where the light's hitting better. It's also scarily close to the train whilst it's going by. Oh well. It's the Hornby Bagnotes from the iTraveller set, you know, all in satellite it was. But I had a better idea for it. So I painted the running plate black. I didn't go right in throughout the whole chassis because that would have took a lot of effort. Plus it's alright grey, I think. I painted the rods red. I removed all the branding on it. Rebranded it as PBA number 5. It's a made-up number. Just made it up in my head and went, yeah, that'll do. Basically heavily black washed it and made it look grubby. Then I rubbed a bit of IPA on the bonnet. You probably won't be able to make it out. No. But rubbed some IPA on the bonnet, which made a sort of paint fade look in places. And then I dry brushed the roof. I don't think you could see it there. But I basically, if I show you there, I dry brushed the roof for the texture. You can just about see the old branding peeping through, which makes I quite like because it looks like the Port of Bristol authorities just took it over, sort of thing, from a previous company. Yeah, Port of Bristol. I never weathered the buffer beams, but it's alright. I weathered the windows, and there's a driver inside the cab. I haven't really got a source of light to beam through, but you might be able to make out a driver in there if I put it like that. He's in the window somewhere. It's not really focusing too great, but there is a driver in there. The problem with the Hornby Bagnall is it's oversized cab. So I actually stood the figure inside, glued it on the running plate and put the cab on. You could only see the top of his head. So I actually had to glue him to the side of the cab, which is quite interesting. But yeah, and then I even weathered the windows to make it look a bit grimy. Because it was a thing I never thought of. People don't really weather windows. But after I'd done all this, I realised it was the first ever loco I've ever weathered myself. And I haven't weathered one since. I've painted locos, like that 08 there. But I've never actually weathered them. So yeah, I was quite happy with that. Because I went, hang on, this is the first time I've done this. Yeah, Modeloo. Well, this one was one of these cheap figures. One of like the ones you get from China. And for ones in not as easy to see cabs, though, that's quite an easy one to see. But I tend to paint them up with some old paints and make them look a bit like Loco Crew. But what's in the packet now is Modeloo. The lamp on it's Modeloo as well. When it next comes around, I'll stop it for you so you can take a peep at the fireman. Driver's on the other side, you see. So we're 2.5 hours through the stream. I know I said I'd finish by now, but I'll stay on a tiny bit longer. Not too much, though. Another 15 minutes, basically. And then I should go, because it's getting quite dark anyway for you guys to see. I know you can still see the trains fine, but it's, you know, it's nice to see them in plain light. But there's a view of, you can just make out the fireman in there, and then you can see the lamp on the front. Yeah, I like Modeloo. They sent me that packet crew and then a set of cleaners for nothing for me to review, which was nice. It was very nice of them, and I even met the person I spoke to from Modeloo, and he come to the railway, and he done driver for a tenner, and I think his wife did as well, wife or to-be wife. They had to go on our driver for a tenner on the diesel, and he come round measuring up the cab. But I shall say no more on that. But yeah, I've thanks to Modeloo, I got some stuff, and it was very kind of them, and I enjoyed painting them. It took a whole afternoon to paint what I was given, but I really enjoyed it. And then I reviewed it just before I went off to Yorkshire, you see, when the lash went up. So yeah, that was very nice of him, and it was nice to meet. It was Chris I met It was nice to see him in real life and say hello to him. I think it's always nice to see the people in the flesh who were ever so generous to you. Because let's be honest, there's larger YouTube channels out there who would be good at promoting it, but yet he didn't mind me doing it. I thought the packet had stalled then, but it just needed a bit more power. I'm quite pleased with this bike. I know I shouldn't really be overly impressed because at the end of the day it's a loco, it's built to last long, but it's very reliable. It's been going this 2 hours nearly 35 minutes, and like I say, it only stopped for about a minute. Stick yours to a lolly stick and batch paint. Yeah, that's good. That did I use my helping hand then? Because I got a helping hand. No, it was just before I got the helping hand. I blue tacked them onto the table, I think, and done them. I think that's how I done them. Yeah, because that's how I become getting a helping hand, thanks to him, because I thought, right, I could do with one of them. And it's very useful, a helping hand. It's amazing how much it helps you, really. I use it all the time now. Very useful for holding something for you and that. I will, when I need to, I'll use it for soldering as well, because the amount of times I've done a soldering job and went, I need 3 hands for this job. Oh, the amount of times I've had that, it's amazing. So I'll be so happy to use that. So maybe next stream, I don't know what to run. I said I could take a request, but what if I done something a little bit, get on a little bit with something unusual. I just was looking at this Spagnol next to the Intercity coaches, and I thought maybe I should go with something like a bit unusual. Oh yeah, I did say about East Somerset Railway. Maybe I should have a train done that like Cranmore, maybe run the Prairie for a bit and then swap it over with the Ivet, and then on the inner line you run something like the Bagnall and some Intercities. You don't get on with your helping hand? Well, I think it's people's preference, really. I think there's some jobs you don't need one, and some that they are very useful to have. But yeah, I think it's people's preference. It's like tweezers, really. A lot of people like using tweezers, like for servicing ring-filled motors, getting them tweezers on the springs, and that can be so useful just to pick them up. Not like compact them with, because that's easily to lose them, but I get along using really fine things just without any sort of thing to help me see, or you know, to hold small things. I was repairing a watch. The watch I wear to the railway, you know, you have the markers for each 5 minutes. One of them had popped off, or for each hour, you could say. I think it was like 5 o'clock had fell, you know, the little marker for 5 o'clock had fell out the place, and it had gone off its care thing, so I couldn't go get a new. Well, I could if I paid, but you know. So I pulled it apart and glued it back in, and it's been fine since. Though I only wear that one to the railway. Used to be the watch I wore all the time, and then I went and bought an Apple Watch, which is I find it useful. Yeah. I prefer analog watches, really, but the Apple ones I find quite useful because you can, things as little as timing. I know your phone can do it, but you could leave your phone on charge in a different room, you time your cup of tea, brewing, and you can control your camera with it actually, and do messaging. And because with my phone I leave it on silent, you see, so nothing, it doesn't do anything apart from light up. I use the watch so it taps me on the wrist every time someone's calling or messaging, which is so useful. But I do like my analog watches, that's the thing. But yeah, that's less of modern technology. I'm not really that technically advanced compared to other people, but oh well. Oh, there's 3 people on. I was just watching the FPS and it went to 29 and I was like, oh god, is it gonna go back down to 0? I got this fear that it's gonna die again. Though it hasn't actually been too bad. That one problem we had to turn it off and on again, basically, so that solved that. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this stream. It's gone along so much better than I thought it would. So much better. I thought it would just be another don't work, delete the app, and then try again in about 6 months' time, because I tend to do that, because I may take a while, but I don't really give up. But yeah, it's getting quite dark quick now, so yeah, I'll probably only stay on till for another 15 minutes. Sorry, not 15 minutes, 5 minutes. But yeah, I think it's been a successful stream, not too bad. I hope it's been alright for everyone who's watched it. Hope it's ran smooth enough and alright. But yeah, I'll think of some probably East Somerset Railway train on the next stream, at least from one bit track. That might be the best way to do it, or as close as East Somerset as I can get. I think I'll have to do something like that. I shall see. The only problem is the only marked ones I got are the maroon ones, so it will be consistently maroon, but oh well. I got the 5205, but I probably won't run that one. Maybe have it in the siding or something. What else? I got 4110. Though I say that, its cab sides have been done, it just needs the smoke box number done. Because that hasn't been done on it yet. I'm waiting for the Hunslet to arrive to buy them numbers and then names for the Hunslet and a few other things in one big batch, basically. But yeah, you only have 8 coaches for Suburbans and Ford. See, I'd like to get an auto coach. I've got 14 XX now. I've got plans for that though. But it would be nice to get a... Yeah, I got a non-corridor Suburban. I'd like the chocolate and cream. Is it the Suburbans? Them. From Hatton Sellum. I nearly bought some once, I think. Because the only GWR coaches I've got is a Clerestory coach, 1 Clerestory brake, and then 2 Centenaries, and I really want to get some more Great Western coaches. I want to get some Southern coaches as well, because I have a Lord Nelson. I only run it with intercity coaches as if it's a rail tour. But yeah. It's funny really, I'm going to end up ending this stream around the time that more people would be coming online, so... But yeah, last 3 minutes. I'll make it go to 2 hours 45 minutes then. Like I said, I don't know if I'll keep this on. I might keep it on for a few days or something and then get rid of it or something. I don't know, I shall see. Depends how I feel, basically. But yeah, if you haven't already, leave a like on the stream if you want. It shows your appreciation. And then at the end of the stream, I'll have a look, and then I can look at the end of the week and see if anyone else has actually been watching it or watching a bit of it. Because I find things like that interesting, really. Analytical stuff's quite interesting. But yeah, it's getting quite... Thanks, Chris. Thanks for hitting the button. Do you know how many likes are on there? Because I'm not actually on YouTube. I'm using the phone, because YouTube used to allow anyone to stream on their phone, then limited the subscribers a little bit. Then they limited them to like 1,000. And so if you want to stream on your phone, you've got to get an app that will stream through it. So I'm not actually on YouTube. 5 likes, wow. That's a lot more than I actually thought I'd get. So I'm very happy with that. So yeah, I'll try and note that in my head, and then I'll see if anyone else has watched it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the live stream, Chris. I've enjoyed it. It's nice just chilling and chatting and doing whatever. Running some trains. Doing what the railways does best. And then once this stream's up, some wagons will go on that side in, and then some will go on the other layout, and then I'll probably put my high mech in standard 5 back on the layout. I felt like running the Barclay today, and then I went, oh, I'll run the Peckett, then that's NCB. But yeah. Right, I'm going to end off the stream now then, seeing as it's 44. By the time I finish saying goodbyes, it would be 45. So, yeah, thanks for watching, Chris, and everyone else who's been watching. Thanks for your patience and that, staying on for so long. It's greatly appreciated. And I hope you've enjoyed watching some National Coldboard 060 tank engines. One a saddle and one a side tank. Running with a few set of wagons each. It's quite relaxing, isn't it? So yeah, I wish you all the best. I shall see you on the next stream, whenever that is, or in the next video if you leave a comment. So I shall see you all next time. Take care and cheerio.